Skiing Anyone is the 24th episode of the third season of the Doris Day Show. I didn't realise quite how close to the end of the third season I was. This is a pretty interesting episode. To be honest, not that much happens, but we have a different location, we're in a different environment, we have a new character introduced. I couldn't really make up my mind how I felt about this character, but I will talk about that and share some thoughts. So there will be some spoilers from now. And Myrna and Doris go on a skiing trip for the weekend. Myrna manages to convince Doris to go, and we get there pretty quickly. The pacing is not too bad. We have a couple of minutes to set up, but the bulk of the episode is at this ski resort. And unfortunately, as soon as they arrive, Myrna really badly hurts her foot, her ankle, and she has to spend the entire episode in bed. And Doris wants to stay with her. She doesn't want to leave her on her own. She doesn't think it's fair. But she ends up going off with this doctor. The doctor kind of persuades Doris, I've given her some medication. She's going to be asleep. You might as well come with me. And this is a character called Dr. Jeffrey Forbes, played by John Gavin. And this is the character about whom I couldn't really make up my mind. To begin with, he was quite pleasant, but then I felt like he seemed really pushy and he was kind of controlling of Doris, and every time she said no, she didn't want to do something, his response was, just do it. And I don't think that was the best attitude to have. Obviously, it's nice that he wants to spend time with her, that is really sweet, but he did seem very pushy. And I didn't love that. And it got to the point where I thought he was actually being kind of controlling. And I wondered if that's where they were going. He was so negative, well, controlling. He was trying to be positive about everything. Myrna will be fine. Doris doesn't need to stay with her. She can go dancing and skiing with him. It will be fine. Trying to say that everything's going to be positive. And to be fair, Myrna was always okay. And I'll talk about Myrna in a moment. But I found his attitude to be really unhelpful, to the point where I wondered if that's what they were doing with the character. But he does get a chance to redeem himself, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. What's really interesting about this episode and the last couple of episodes, and I feel like we're starting to see a shift as we head towards season 4. And I kind of know what's ahead. I don't know the main storylines of season 4 or anything, but I know some significant changes. I won't go into any details about those, but I do feel like there is this shift where we're starting to focus more on Doris and relationships. Not just Doris as a mother, but Doris as a woman. She's starting to spend a lot of time with random men, quite frankly. She'll meet them, she'll have a romantic dance or a nice dinner with them, and then they don't appear again in any episode, at least so far. And I feel like this is a really interesting shift certainly away from season 1 and some of season 2, where she was very much just Doris the mother and homemaker, and things are starting to change, and this is absolutely what we get in this episode. And I'm expecting, but I could be wrong, and if I am, that's fine, but I'm expecting we get more of this in the next season, but I'll find out when I get there in 2 episodes' time. 2 more left in this season. Myrna is actually really supportive of Doris. She does have a little whinge and a little grumble, of course she does, but she's actually encouraging Doris to dance with this doctor. They go dancing and to spend more time with him, which I think was really sweet of Myrna. She could very easily have said, no, you came here with me, so please stay and entertain me. And that's what Doris keeps trying to do, but Myrna and the doctor keep convincing her otherwise. But whereas Myrna's doing it to be supportive of Doris's potential brief relationship, the doctor just always seemed to be doing it for his own personal gain. And yes, as I said, it's lovely that he wants to spend time with Doris, but also a little bit strange. Also, was he on holiday by himself? Not that there's anything wrong with that. I've gone on holiday by myself many times. I just found it a little bit coincidental, I guess, that the doctor happened to be on holiday on his own. He happened to arrive just as Myrna hurt herself, and then he happened to take an interest in Doris, who was now going to be spending the time not skiing. So there were a lot of things that lined up a little too conveniently, but it's not bad. It's definitely not a bad episode. In fact, I rather liked it. Sure, there isn't a lot of action. It's not the most detailed, but we get a nice variety compared to other episodes. We have a change of location. We have different characters. So all of that worked well. And as I said, the doctor did manage to redeem himself at the end when he did something really nice for Myrna's benefit, and I rather liked that. So I still didn't love him. I didn't finish the episode thinking he was a brilliant character, but definitely we saw improvements there. Skiing Anyone is a really good episode, and I'm looking forward to watching the last few episodes in this season.